I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dance Influence with Dana Alexa. I'm your host, Dana Alexa, and I'm here as always with my gorgeous co-host, Danielle Rose.
Hey.
And today we are so excited because we have the best guests ever, my friends Shivani and Chaya, who are the creators of BFunk. If you don't know about BFunk yet, it is a fusion of Indian styles like Bollywood and Bhangra with styles like hip-hop and jazz funk. And it is a phenomenon. Like, their high energy classes have become crazy viral, racking up 1.37 million subscribers on YouTube and counting, like growing by the second, almost 200,000 followers on Instagram. They are just killing it.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
So excited to pick your brains about this later. But as always, we're going to start the day with a little chat about the week.
Yeah.
And I had a very exciting weekend because, as anyone who doesn't know this, I am not a fangirl. That's what I would say. I'm not a fangirl. I'm like not a fan of anybody. And I know, like, you know, some people are like they really into like a fandom. Like they just love someone and it's like, you know, someone that they know everything about and they never miss anything. And I'm just not that type of personality at all. Except for one queen that I worship, that I've honestly loved since I was a child. Like a literal, I'd be like 7 years old watching the show. And that is Oprah, queen.
Yes.
If you're out there, queen. So
Oprah.
this weekend, I got to see Oprah. She came to LA to do her 2020 Vision Your Life in Focus tour. And I like literally bought tickets the moment that I found out. And the second she stepped on stage, I was like, queen! And I don't think she heard me because I was like way in the back. But like just I was sending her that kind of energy. But it's honestly been a goal for me forever because I just have always wanted to hear her talk and to see her energy in person. And she like did not disappoint me. And I don't know what it is about her that has always drawn me to her. But I mean, besides the fact that she kills it and she's a freaking billionaire and goals. Yeah. But something else about her has always like drawn me. And like seeing her live, we are exactly the same. Like hearing her talk, I was like, we could be friends. Like, this is exactly like me.
Like, we're sisters.
One of the things she said, I was dying. She starts talking about how at times in her life when she started to, like, do really well, people started to pull on her and ask her for favors, which I'm sure everyone can kind of relate to as you kind of elevate. People are kind of like, oh, can you help me? Can you help me?
Yeah.
And so imagine her, a billionaire, like, how many people are, like,
hitting her up.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, at some point I started to get, like, burnt out because I was doing and saying yes to everybody, you know? And so she talks to her man, Stedman. You don't know, that's her man for like a really long time. And Stedman's like, well, why are you doing this? Like, why are you saying yes to everybody and killing yourself? And she's like, well, I don't want people to think I'm not nice. And so Stedman goes, you think you're nice? And I died when she tells that story because I have been saying forever, like, I'm not nice. And I've never heard anybody, like, own it like that and say it like that, except her. And I was like, I'm totally on that wave. Like, I'm kind. And he's like, she said, Stedman was like, I thought you were more self-aware than that. Like, you're not nice.
I love that,
That's
though.
really funny.
I love that.
And I was like, me either. She's like, I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm loving, I'm loyal, I'm a lot of things, but, like, I wouldn't put nice, like, high on my list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she just said it, like, so...
As a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
Like,
it's not a negative
to me,
thing.
being nice isn't a bad thing either. It's great to be nice if that's genuinely who you are.
Right.
But I feel like niceness has a little bit of, like, subdued quality to it. You know what I mean? And I think if you are real and honest, that it's also... I don't know if you could do both, really. Like, could you be nice and be, like, super, like, real? Or would it be... having to be like
that's a weird that made me think of Friends. I know, like, I'm obsessed, but it made me think of Friends where, like, Joey is always talking to Phoebe about how, like, oh, there's no such thing as a good, like, a selfless good deed. And that's really true. Like, that's a very, like, are you being nice because you want to be nice, or are you being nice because you know you want to be nice, but also you're going to get something back
in return?
Nice is a slippery slope.
Yeah. Let's just not be nice.
Yeah. Let's just cut that out.
But I've just never related to that word. And it's not like I'm saying, I'm not like people shouldn't be nice, but it's just not a word that I've ever felt like, oh, that's like a goal for me. I'm more interested in being real and being good and being, you know, honest and genuine. Yeah, like a lot of other things that I really resonate with. So it's cool to hear her say that.
There was something actually that you posted on your story, I think last week, that I loved, and we talked about it for a little bit. Yeah. But you were like,
you're like, what?
You were like, there's a difference between like supporting your friends and overhyping your friends. And I just thought that was a point that nobody really talked about. And I think that's so important. And it's like that also kind of plays into the niceness factor of like, you have to be real at the same time, you know?
There is a balance because I've had friends get angry at me and say like, you know, I'm posting videos and I don't feel supported. And I'm like, well, why don't you feel supported? Because I'm telling you, go out, do your thing. Like, I'm proud of you. Just because that video didn't get a, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in the history of all the world comment, doesn't mean that I don't support you. It means this video didn't blow me away. Maybe it's not indicative of the potential I see in you, but I'm still proud of you for putting in the effort, and I'm waiting to see what you're going to do next. So I can either offer you genuine feedback. I'm not going to go to your video on YouTube and be like, hey, this is pretty good, but I think you could have. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Everything is not for everyone.
You know, so you know. Sometimes people just, the moment they start doing something, they want automatic, like, overpraise.
That's
like,
100%.
And it's like, if you really want me to support you, then I'm going to help you create stuff that I'm like, damn, that blew me away. And then I'm going to give you the praise that you earned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then that makes people upset sometimes. They think that's a lack of support, but I'm like, actually, it's more support.
That's more supportive.
Because it's actually helping you grow to the next phase and not settle in mediocrity and think that you're lit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyway, the big excitement that I almost died was that Oprah fell on her face in the middle of the event in front of 14,000 people. Queen said, you should live your life in balance. And then she fell.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I literally was like,
oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she fell like being hit to the ground, and I was not okay. I like needed to be resuscitated. But she rolled around. She was like, bad shoes. Like she blamed it on her shoes. And then Stedman ran up and she's like, look at my man. He's trying to help me. And then she was like, wouldn't it be nice to be talking about balance and then to fall?
Yeah.
And I was like, but she recovered so fast.
Yeah.
And like regained her composure so fast, made a joke of it, and was just like, I talked about balance and I like literally fell on my face.
Yeah.
So that was hysterical. But do you guys have anybody, like, I'm going on and on about Oprah, like, I'm not a crazy stalker or anything, I just love her, but do you guys have anybody that for you is like your person that you like totally geek out over? Or am I alone in this?
I don't know.
I
like don't know if I feel like it's a weird thing, but Miley Cyrus. Like, I don't know what it is
That's
about
interesting.
her.
Let's try not to look judgmental.
Right. Watch your face, girl. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just always have kind of like resonated with the fact that like, yeah, she's changing and she's doing all these things and she's going through life and she's kind of doing her thing, but she's under the spotlight. But still, yeah, she went kind of whatever. But like, she found it and like she's not hiding from it. She's embracing it and kind of like moving on. And I don't know, I just get inspired by that because it seems real to me. Like it seems like, and I've seen her in real life. I've like seen her in person, and
I love that.
I felt that same energy that I thought that
She's
she
just
had.
owning it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
She's just
dope.
herself.
That is dope. Yeah. How about you guys? You got anybody that you're like?
Oh my gosh, there's
really
like
terrible
so
picking
many.
favorites.
But like honestly, lately I've just. The show's over now, but Gina Rodriguez, I love her so much. Just like her talent, her craft, just like everything I've seen and read in terms of like how hard she works. And so she's definitely somebody that I look up to. Yeah. I love her. And I love her work ethic.
Like,
No, honestly, I really wish, I don't know. I mean, I think like I resonate with different people at different times in my life, depending on like if I can identify with something that they're going through and if it feels something like that hits home for me. But it just really, really depends. I think, I think I just go through phases. But I know growing up, I idolized a lot of Bollywood stars growing up.
Is there like one in particular, maybe, especially in your dance community?
Yeah, I think we're both Madhuri fans for sure. Madhuri is like the goddess of dance in the Bollywood realm.
Goddess of like dance expression, like how she even moves her eyebrows. It's like every girl's dream to dance like Madhuri Dixit. That's their dream.
She's just some sort of presence, and I think I've always idolized her growing up, and I don't think that ever stopped for me. So she's someone who's always
I actually
been,
remember seeing a lot of her videos when I was living in India. That was somebody that came up a lot. When I judged a show in India for a while, a dance show, and like a lot of the dancers would say like she was a huge
she's timeless
inspiration.
She's timeless for sure.
Amazing. Aside from Oprah, I have one other person that I really love. Not like as much as Queen, but like almost as much.
Yeah.
And that's J-Lo.
J-Lo for sure,
Yes. And J-Lo was the guest at this event. So like I got to see it together at once. Yeah. And J-Lo's interview was amazing. Like she's, again, the two of them together, it felt like you were in their living room. Like the two realest people I've ever seen. And it's funny because they're two people who I've always felt attracted to. Yeah. And for someone who doesn't even have that type of personality, I thought it was super interesting, like watching them talk. I was like, I could totally hang out with y'all and like sit in the living room and like
kick it.
It would, I would resonate like with everything. Right. And so one of the things she was talking about, they asked a lot about her relationship with Alex Rodriguez. She's engaged to Alex Rodriguez. And so Oprah asked a lot about that because, she's gotten engaged and married a couple times. Let's not drag it. But not like anyone else I know. I have never done that. But yeah, so they're asking about her relationship with Alex Rodriguez a lot, and she says that the thing about him that's the most special and that she's not had with anyone else is that he lets her shine. And he not only lets her shine, like she never feels like he's like trying to pull her back and be like, come back here and like be safe and like don't outshine me, you know what I mean? And as soon as she said that, I was like, that's it. People always ask me like, why are you single? And I'm like, I'm single because that's hard to find, when you're someone who can feel it, you have something more and there's more you want to do. And honestly, I can say with almost complete certainty that every relationship I've ever been in, that has been a fatal flaw, is that I have always felt stifled and like reeled in and like, hold on, remember your place, don't do too much, and judged. And I don't think I can ever get into another relationship until that's not the case, until there is that support and someone who's like, go
be free.
Own your shine, you know what I mean?
I feel like I can kind of identify with that in the sense of like feeling the need to kind of dim your own light in order to make somebody else feel comfortable, but the notion that we can both shine together isn't for some reason obvious, and then you end up being kind of a support or a backbone to their career or to their wants and needs, and then you neglect your own.
I never heard of anything like that. Never have.
So I 100% understand that. Yeah. Unrelatable.
Completely.
Not me.
Never heard of it.
But it's very real.
Yeah, it's such a real thing. And honestly, the thing about it is that for me, what I really believe is that women are super powerful and men are super powerful. And when we come together, we create an energy that if we use it correctly, it is just all powerful. It is the yin and yang. Like, it is everything.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what I'm waiting for. And until I find it, I'm not going back down that rabbit hole because I already know, I do carry a lot of energy with me and I have a lot more to do and give. And I'm excited to support somebody in their journey too and let them live. So like I want that mutuality as well. And so that's just for me. That's like right now, like without that, I just don't know. Like
it's so important because it's so easy to lose like a sense of individuality and identity through somebody else.
Absolutely.
So until you kind of have a lockdown on what that is for you.
That could happen in a friendship and a partnership too,
right?
Right?
Sort of situation.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys feel that you do a good job in your business partnership of like allowing the other person to shine and take the lead where they're strong?
100%. I think what helps a lot is that we communicate a ton because Chaya's like really good with that. So I've become better with it because of her. But because that, we're able to like honestly get through anything. And in terms of like, especially with this industry and like paving your own way, there's so many things that are going to knock you down, and the last thing that you need in a friendship or relationship, whatever it is any sense of like jealousy or any sense of like miscommunication. Like so many things can go wrong, or things that are like just external, things that you can't control, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to be able to like come together as a fist and like really just own things together and share burdens, and that's something that I think that we've really fought through.
I think we're both very self-aware too.
Yeah.
I think we're very aware of like ourselves and what we bring to the table, and we know when to take a step back and when to take a step up and what tasks to
I think that's
own.
like such an important thing.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. Oprah talked about her friendship with Gail. She's been friends with her best friend Gail for a very long time, and she says the thing that has kept their relationship together all that time is that Gail has always wanted her life and never wanted Oprah's life. Like, she always wanted her own life.
Very true.
And so, like, I think that's such a big thing because I've had relationships, friendships fall apart for that too, and that like people get like, I don't know, it almost becomes like an unhealthy obsession. You know what I mean? Like, because when you work together and you're friends and everything overlaps, it almost becomes hard to like maintain that individuality.
100%.
So that the crossover doesn't become like toxic and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think it takes strong people, it takes communication, and it takes that awareness of like, if we build this properly in our together and separate, then we're gonna really have something worth having.
Yeah. I think it's also just kind of keeping like the goal in mind and like the bigger picture in mind. And I think that for us, we know that this is definitely way bigger than us in terms of the things that we want to achieve and do for the community. So we always try to reference that if things kind of seem petty at times.
Yeah.
You have to like do a zoomed out perspective.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time. We try to
100%.
like remove ourselves and look at things from just like a bird's eye view and look at it like, okay, this is way bigger than both of us. And then the best part, I think we both know each other's fortes, like how she was saying. It was like, I know what I'm good at, she knows what she's good at, and then we just go for that. So
That's amazing. And I'm sure you learn from each other
oh
constantly
yeah,
as
all
well,
the time.
right?
Every day.
Yeah.
Like, that way eventually the whole team is just like can do anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a shifting. And I noticed that too, like in times I was on a team but the other person didn't really want us to win as a team and just wanted to win themselves. There wasn't a lot of crossover in that. Like, I was never taught anything. It was always like, do your role and then like move. You know what I mean? Like, serve the team, but then go. Like, don't overstep, don't learn, don't grow, because that growth creates, in that closed mind, it creates puts it in jeopardy almost. Like, oh, you're gonna outgrow the team. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
play your role, and then you're more of an employee than a teammate, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, tell me about what sparked this idea. Like, what birthed BFunk?
Yeah. So first of all, Chaya and I met 4 years ago, and we met very randomly at a Mexican restaurant. So it was very, very random. But what kind of sparked was that we both kind of just realized that there was a gap in the industry in terms of having a mainstream class for Bollywood and Bhangra. And there's a lot, the dance circuit, the collegiate dance circuit for Bollywood, Ras, Indian styles of dance is huge in North America.
It is.
But there wasn't a class where you come in, you warm up, and then you learn a combo, and then you film. There wasn't anything like that
Which
for
is the
South
traditional
Asian.
if you're not a dancer in LA, that's the traditional class structure now. You go into class, you warm up, you learn a combo, and then you film it. And that's kind of become, or you do select groups if you're not filming. Like, that is the typical structure.
Yeah. So when I moved out to LA, like right away, I was just doing IDA training program and then taking your class, taking so many other classes. And I just noticed that there just wasn't anything like that for South Asian dance.
I remember doing private, for those of you who don't know, Shivani has been my student for a long time, and I have done a lot of private lessons with her in my style of dance. And I remember specifically the lesson where you were like, I have an idea, and I want to kind of fuse these things together.
Yeah.
What do you think? And I was like, do it.
Yeah.
Like, get out there and do it. But I don't know how you guys came together with this.
Yeah, we were just having a conversation about goals, and basically I came out here to pursue entertainment, and so I was working at Warner Brothers, and Shivani and I just had a conversation, and she'd been like heavy in the industry, auditioning and working for several different dance companies, and so we actually had a talk, and she was feeling frustrated, and she was like, I really, really feel like I'm doing so much and I'm spreading myself so thin, but I don't feel fulfilled. Yeah. And so I said, okay, write down a list of things that you want to do or achieve, whether it's long-term, short-term, or whether it feels lofty or not. And so she wrote down a number of things, and then one of them was, I want to start a Bhangra class. And I said, okay, that's something you can achieve now, and I said, why do you want to start a Bhangra class? And she goes, well, I feel like the techniques that Bhangra can offer can be useful to the professional dancer in LA, whether they're Indian or not, because it like requires you to use different muscles in different ways that you don't typically do, and some of the other styles that are a little bit more grounded. And she said that when she was auditioning, and that there were these casting directors were always looking for something that would set you apart and made you kind of have an edge. And so she was like, I really feel like this can give the professional dance scene an edge if they have a little bit of like a cultural, I don't know, addition
just use
to
it to your
their
advantage.
to their inventory. And so she was like, I want to start this. I really feel like it's helpful. And I was like, great, start it. And she was like, you're doing it with me. I was like,
I was like, you're doing it with me.
It's easy to motivate, but then you got reeled in.
I was like, wait.
Great, you're co-pilot.
Yeah. So that's basically kind of how.
So you start teaching classes. What happens? First class. How many people show up? What happens?
Like 8 people, I think.
8 people, including us.
So 6 people.
So 6 people.
Our first
sounds
class.
better.
Yeah.
You know what's so crazy? And I don't even know if I can say this, but
You can say anything you want, bro. We live. Stop you. Go ahead.
But you know, Millennium, I approached them with this idea, and you know, they very quickly were like, you know, since you don't have experience just yet, it makes sense to not be on the roster. So I was like, okay. And the next thing I thought of was like, okay, fine, I'll just rent out the space. Then we rented out space for like a good 2-3 months at Millennium and just held our own class. And I think that was the birth of the realization that if an opportunity is not given to you, you have to create your own.
And then sometimes the no is the blessing, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if you had
Definitely.
restricted yourself somewhere, you might not have had the necessity to really brand yourselves the way you have and become the business people that you have, because you would have been getting a paycheck through somewhere else.
Exactly.
And now you're your own entity.
Yeah, because the notion was that Bollywood is not a professional style of dance. That was the notion. And as it's not a discipline by all means. It's not a discipline, but there are, you know, obviously it's a fusion of several different elements of professional disciplines of dance.
Right.
And also it's just a movement. It's just a vibe. It's just a feeling. That's what Bollywood is. And so there is so much prestige and value in the art form that we're really, really trying to hone in on and share, essentially.
I think it was so interesting to me, the things I loved. When I lived in India, the thing that really set India apart is that, like, if you watch a dance performance in a movie, that becomes iconic. Like, first of all, you know, dance is everywhere. It's part of everything in entertainment. But, like, it becomes iconic, and people know the choreographer. They know who choreographed that. They know, like, the dancers. They know, like, you know what I mean? And it makes a lot of their major actors are also just all around entertainers. They sing, they dance, they do everything.
Yeah.
Like, the art is just pervasive. There's no, like, you're a dancer, you stay here. You're this, you do that. Everyone gets their credit. Everyone throws all their talent into the pot. And it's so funny that it's so closed off, like, in India. Like, that world is so massive.
It's
like Bollywood is... You can't wrap your head around it. It's bigger than anything that you can imagine. And then, like, here it's like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're so separated from something that is so powerful and just, like, and it's such an impressive and amazing form of expression. Like, I was in awe. Like, I could not... get enough.
It's like it's not comparable essentially to anything that is necessarily Western, but it's just kind of appreciating it for what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is ridiculous. So what was the moment that after you had your 6 people in your first class that you guys were like, well, we on to something here. Like, not 8 of us anymore.
You know what happened is we put out our first class video, and after that, it like caught fire on YouTube because the singer of this song that we danced to, he shared it.
And who was that?
And his name is Diljit Dosanjh. And a year later, we ended up performing with him at IFA, which is pretty much the Indian Oscars.
Wow.
And which was like our whole world came full circle because he pretty much helped launch.
That's the first video you uploaded.
The very first video. So, and it, I mean, we didn't know anything about like tagging and things like that. We just uploaded it. And then from there, it was like everyone kept hashtagging this term heavyweight Bhangra. And Bhangra is usually done by males.
Yeah.
So I think that's also why it was so interesting, was because it was done by 2 females.
Slightly
and
provocative.
And then we also didn't just do Bhangra. We like heard this music at the end of the mix of the song. And we were like, we don't feel like doing Bhangra. We feel like hitting like a quick like tick tick, like a quick like hip hop move there, and that's what we heard. And so we're like, okay, let's just do it. And then we were driving in the car, and Chaya was like, I don't think we should call this class Bhangra. I think we should call it Bhangra Funk. So that's how the name got coined. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
And so you call the people that take your class the Funk Fam.
The Funk
right?
Fam.
And so what brought that on?
Yeah.
I think that it just became such a familial environment, and everybody that came in, the community that came in, was so supportive, so loving, and it was something that they just kind of it just brewed on its own. You know, I think just the environment was just so non-judgmental, which we loved, and it just felt like a family through and throughout. And so it was just really natural, that term Funk Fam for us.
I don't even remember thinking of it. It just kind of happened.
No, it just kind of happened. We were like,
It invented itself.
What's that Funk Fam? I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is.
We got a name. So once that first video caught fire for you guys and went viral, did you then start being like, dang, we should take this social media seriously and start making this more of a thing? Or did you still keep it pretty casual? Like, how did 1.37 million followers, like subscribers, how did that happen?
Yeah, I think, my first memory of really being motivated was when we had a conversation about being motivated to have Dance On see our content. And Dance On was a platform that we really looked up to, and we just thought it'd be so cool to see Bhangra, or South Asian styles of dance, on that network. And so we did like 4 or 5 videos, and I think the first 4 or 5 videos when we were like, okay, let's just like get 5 solid videos out and just see what happens. And then from there we did our collab with them, their Dance On class. And that video was the one that got like 100 million views.
100 million views?
On Facebook.
Like across platforms.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
That's wild viral.
And
so for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, Dance On is kind of an intermediary company. They work between brands, artists, things like that, and they connect those people and interests to influencers or to people in the dance community. And so they produce a lot of video content for a lot of dancers out here that are represented by them. So that's the company that they're talking about now, just to kind of bring any non-dancers up to speed on it. So what about now? Like, do you guys still upload all your own content, or do you have someone who handles that for you?
We do, yeah. I would.
We're a 2-woman show.
We're a 2-woman show, and I would definitely say we're
a 1-woman show. Well, not this show, but just see yourself. I'm just kidding. But I'm a 1-woman show a lot of the time, so I totally understand.
And I feel like, and we were like proud of it. We're like, whatever, it's something we have to work on, but definitely micromanagers because we started doing everything ourselves. So anytime that we need to like pass on work or anything, now that there's things that we just can't handle everything at once, just the 2 of us. So now when it's time to pass on tasks or to our intern or something, it's like we just have a really tough time doing it because we're like,
it's really hard to part with it.
But let's be honest, it's because people screw things up. I mean, we don't invent this idea that like, oh, no one can be trusted. People prove they can't be trusted. They do things that are like wild, and you're like, what did you do to my thing?
What did you do to my thing?
I could have done it myself.
Well, nobody's gonna care about your content or your baby as much as you are. Right?
I hope that's not true. I hope not yet.
I hope,
you hope that the thing is, people, especially in Los Angeles, tend to care about things that bring them some kind of value, whether it be financial or whatever they think that it is, the value that they're getting. And when they don't see value, they're like, so you hope that that's not true, because obviously you both found value in the same thing. And I'm sure that the students in your class, you're bringing a lot of people up that are vibrating on your energy and want to be part of this in a real, genuine way. So you hope eventually, in time, you will find a team, even if it's small, of people that really love it as much as you. And that really can bring something valuable to the table, not just do the tasks you sign off. You know what I mean? But like really bring value. And I think that will come. I just think it takes time to really find that and build that team. And honestly, it is still, as much as you guys grown, it's still a new thing for you guys. You still have so much ahead of you to create and to do with this. So, I think the hope is that we can all find like a fam. A fun fam. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So your classes started to take off now. Your classes are full in LA. And not only are they full in LA, but you're being pulled to teach in other places as well, right? So you just got off a teaching tour. Tell us about that. Tell us about teaching other places and how that's going.
So we went on a mini East Coast tour, and traveling and teaching is something that we absolutely love to do, because then we get to connect with the people that are watching our videos, like one-on-one, get to dance with them, train with them. So traveling and teaching has been something that we love so much.
What was a highlight of like the last tour? Tell us like a highlight.
Oh boy, I really enjoyed DC actually.
Yeah, Washington DC.
Yeah, DC was a lot of fun this time. I mean, it's always wonderful when we go to like our largest hubs because they're just the energy is so infectious in these cities, and they're so keen to learn and be there for each other, which is, we always tell them, you're here for each other because you share a like passion, and because you enjoy doing the same thing, and we're just giving you something to do while you're together.
Yeah.
So
we're just leading it.
Yeah,
Y'all gotta
exactly.
love each other, otherwise it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
It's true.
But DC was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the highlight is seeing how hungry they are. Like when you tell them something, it's like, okay, they just receive it so well. And I think there's such a thirst for knowledge. And when we see that thirst for knowledge, then it motivates us to work harder to receive more knowledge. So I think we come back always so excited to train harder. Yeah.
It's always really cool to see all the talent too, because I think growing up it was very segmented, and you didn't really realize like how much there is out there. And in our generation there wasn't a lot of focus on the arts. And so to see like children in class and seeing their parents really seeing the value and putting them in class and furthering those aspects of them is so incredible.
It's exciting.
It's so incredible. So it's amazing to see the talent and see that, okay, there's something going on here. You know what I mean?
And you guys just basically created a platform for something that was needed, right?
Yeah.
Obviously you like made a little rip and we're like, and then everyone just kind of flooded through and was like, we've been waiting for this.
Yeah, because it's exciting. There's kind of like this notion that, train, take dance seriously up until you're like 18, and then after that, now get real and start studying and go to med school or do this or figure it out, but don't do something that is unstable or could be unstable at all. So I think that was exciting for us, is when we see like students in class that are so young and their parents are dropping them off. It's like,
it's so cool.
Amazing.
It's so cool. And it's so funny because like growing up, I think both of our, like, we can both identify with this, that we needed to be versatile. Like we needed to be in piano, we needed to be in swimming, we needed to be in dance, we needed to be doing all these things. And then once you get to that particular age, it's like, well, what do I do with all this energy now? Like, where do I invest it back? It's like, well, you don't use any of it now. Just now go to work, go to your job. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, what do I do?
That is true.
Yeah,
and I think it's interesting that now, especially, I think more and more people are seeing that the arts is a viable path. If you really want to do it, it's just as stable as anything else. Nothing is really stable, right? So, I mean, that's really cool to be opening that to a whole nother door of dancers who maybe didn't see that path here before, like you're saying. Like, I don't think that there has been any Indian crossover style that has done what you guys are doing. And so, that's amazing.
It's exciting.
That's ridiculous. What spots are you looking to go to next? Like, what's we're trying.
India.
You're trying to get
we
to India.
Have
that
not,
makes sense.
And
maybe
so
the Mexico,
crazy.
since you guys met that Mexican restaurant.
Mexico.
Full circle. We just got back from Mexico, actually.
But yeah, India, we still have to make our trip there.
You also need to probably get a stadium that fits 1 million people, otherwise the whole country will be aggravated.
I know.
Where are we supposed to stand?
I know. We've made a couple of false promises. We thought we were gonna, go last year, and then didn't go through. And then we got some messages like, where's your tour date? Like, when's it coming? So
I look forward to seeing that.
We're excited. Hopefully soon.
But I know I get a lot of messages too, come back to India, and I don't think people realize how difficult it is to get to India.
Hard.
India's
it's really
far
hard.
away. They did not make it accessible when they put it there. It is not easy to get
not make it accessible. I love that.
They put it far away.
They
it's
put it far away.
Hello.
It's also so many
you
things.
You can't go for a weekend. You're going for a month.
No,
and that's it. Yeah. And by the end of the month, you'll almost be on the right
100%.
time, and then you'll come back.
Right.
It's far. It's not an easy trip. So and that is amazing. So fingers crossed for India 2020.
Yes.
No promises. Don't send out any crazy
promises.
hate mail. That's just it's on the agenda.
We're working hard for it. Yeah.
So what do you think has been the biggest challenge for you guys, either individually or as a team? What's something that you're like, ugh.
Yeah. I think, we've had this conversation consistently that, agency is something that we've been trying to achieve for some time. And because the grassroots of what we've done so far is so new, there's a lot that goes behind it that I think that people don't exactly realize. There aren't pre-existing conventions or, teaching opportunities for us. We have to create all these opportunities. We have to self-host. We have a lot of overhead costs. We have a lot of different logistics and things that we have to pay mind to because these things just don't exist. So it's not just so much as just like, having the talent or just teaching or just going on the whim and doing it. Like, these opportunities have to exist. So
No, it's not that at all, because what people don't see is that if you guys, their classes are packed and their videos are flying off the handle with numbers. If you guys were teaching hip hop or any other style that's already established and put on these schedules, whether it's for conventions or even in the big studios out here, a long time ago, the offers would have come in for you to just become part of other available conventions and stuff.
Right, like, or even just being on a regular on a roster.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Just all these different things. Like, there's a lot of things that go into this, and because these opportunities are not flying in at the moment, we have to create them.
Yeah.
And kind of self-host ourselves wherever.
The blessing and the curse, right?
Yeah. Wherever we go.
Yeah.
And so that's why also, like, when it comes to representation from an agency perspective, it's kind of like, I don't know if they know how to kind of handle that from our perspective, because that's a lot of work for them, and it's a lot to understand too.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to understand, which is okay. But I think what we've realized is that sometimes you can represent yourself the best in terms of like you and your team. And I think we've really started to understand that, if we don't even really fully understand how to represent ourselves, then we can't really direct somebody else to do it. So I definitely think that there's been so much of a learning curve, which I appreciate and I'm super thankful for, because our journey's just been so different. So yeah.
Well, how would you represent yourself? Like, what would you say? Like, what is the value in you guys and in BFunk? Like, what is it? What should people sit up and pay attention to if they have no idea who you are or what you're doing?
I mean, I think the exciting part, and something that we say in every class, is that with the music that we choose, which is with the dance styles that we choose, how we choreograph, we're hoping that this class can be something that somebody can find anything to relate to in that class, whether even if you don't like Bhangra, but you like hip hop. And so we have mixes that have hip hop in it, or you can find your forte and then grow within that, so it's not so scary, because that can be really intimidating, coming to a class where you're like, I don't understand the music, I don't understand the lyrics, and then I also don't know the dance style. That's a little intimidating, and I don't know if everybody would want that experience. But this way, it's like everybody can relate to something.
Yeah, and I think, like, we always say that it's a fusion of, like, our Western upbringing with our Eastern roots.
Yeah.
And so we identify ourselves as, like, hybrids in this country, and there's so many like us, whether they're Indian or not. And so I think that there's something really powerful about that. America's a melting pot, and, and very soon you're not going to know, you're not going to be able to tell where somebody's from by looking at them, which is amazing. And so I think that we can all kind of, like, find some sort of commonality in just this notion of hybrid. So,
How are you finding that non-Indian dancers are receiving the class? Because I know that it is an Indian class, but that you guys are not just getting people from India. You're getting all different, now especially all different dancers. I see you guys post clips, and it's like people from all over. How are they receiving the class? And, like, are they coming in like, or like, what's the story?
They're so open, which is so exciting. And that's what Shivani kind of says this in class too, that there's no way that they'll maybe understand the language at all times, which is totally fine, but that's why this is so wonderful, is that, like, you start dancing before you start speaking, right? And so there's something about your body that understands, that transcends beyond language, and it just, you can see it in their bones, you can see it in their bodies, that it's just fluid for them.
Like, dance is primal.
It's
like,
just,
for everybody.
It's transcending. It's transcending, and it's just so communal, and it really just brings a sense of togetherness. And so to see that, it just, like,
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they come in a little nervous, but they're like, within the moment, they're just like taken up, and you like wouldn't.
Yeah, like nothing was, there was no, it was completely seamless. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's super amazing. Are you going to get in the class?
Yeah.
I'll go.
Sounds great.
Yes.
When
I've been trying to come to a BFunk class for how long I've been saying I'm coming. But it's always the wrong time. It's always the time I'm like, teaching.
You should plug it. When is it? Where is it?
Wednesdays at 9 p.m. at West Coast Dance Theater.
So tonight.
Actually, not tonight. Not tonight. We get back to teaching next week.
Next week. Okay, next Wednesday. That's fair enough. I won't be here. There it is. Wednesday night I won't be here. But I'll find a time. I want to get in there. I really want to see what you guys are building and support it, because if you guys haven't seen the videos yet, you really got to go watch them. It's the thing about it that like I see before I see anything cultural, anything stylistic in the dancing is the energy. Like you can't deny the energy. You are just these people are literally jumping out of their bones. Like the people on the sides are like freaking out. It's so genuine, and it's so refreshing, honestly, being in the industry. And I'm sure part of what you're saying drove you to want to create something like this in the first place is that sometimes the energy is stale and mean. And it's, it's always refreshing to see doors open where that's not the case, and it's not competitive, and it's not angry, and it's like, let's just dance, y'all. Let's party. What's coming next for BFunk? Like, what do you guys want to do? What do you what door are you knocking on besides wanting to get agency representation, which I think someone is definitely sleeping on and needs to sign you both.
Right now, sign
if I was an agent, I would sign you both. But
I know, we were like, should we just create our own agency?
I mean,
why not?
People can be short-sighted, and honestly, that's the thing. They want to come once you don't need them anymore. And you're like, well, now we don't need an agency.
You missed it.
That's what'll happen most likely, and I think you guys will be better for it. Like you have been better for every other challenge that you face. You don't need limits, and you don't even need the help. So screw. But anyway, if it's for you, I hope it comes. But so what's next? What's the big thing you're chipping away at?
There's I think India, of course, is something that we've always been working on, and we really want to hit India this year. But also just growing also as individuals in terms of businesswomen, entrepreneurs, online tutorials. That's something that we're working on right now, which is really exciting because so many of our viewers, they're not able to take our class. Not everybody lives in LA. And so that's really exciting that we'll be able to tap into that market of really just being in your living room. That way you don't have to worry about coming to LA, planning that trip. And so we get a lot of messages of online tutorials. How can we teach one-on-one without flying all the way to LA? So that's really exciting. That's I think awesome. Online tutorials is next. Yeah.
I think, that's something that we are constantly trying to sort out because we have so many dreams and aspirations. And this landed in our lap very, not too long ago.
Yeah.
And
how long have you guys been building this?
It's been 3 years. Yeah. And honestly, we weren't, I don't think, consciously building anything for the first year.
Yeah.
Just
kind of doing
because
I was going with it.
Yeah, until I quit my job. Then at that point, then I think we were like, okay, we got to do something and make something out of this.
You're out of time.
But oh my God, that time period of 6 months where Chaya was working full time and we were doing BFunk full time. Oh my God. I will never forget that. Thank God we were both single because it's otherwise it just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Because she would sneak me, I don't know if you could say it. Well, I would go to the Warner Brothers lot.
Well, I wasn't really sneaking as much as, I kind of outright.
You don't work there anymore, just tell us.
Yeah. I basically would get her drive-on passes to the lot.
To the Warner Brothers lot.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Warner Brothers. Thank you for your service.
Sorry about that. So I'd get her drive-on passes because I'd work there late, and I'd be editing or doing a number of things, and she would come onto the lot, even sometimes when I'll just skip that. But at night I'd be kind of working, and then she would be, in my cube with me and just, working on different things. She'd be editing on this side. I'd be doing my thing. I'd just be swiveling my chair back and forth.
Yeah, she would literally be editing for BFunk, editing for
I'd just be back and forth, and then she would get up for a second and do a little jig, and I'd get up and be like, okay, good, back to work. And
yeah.
It was just a lot of
jig.
Yeah. It was just a lot of that, and it was nuts. But yeah, I think after that point, when I quit my job, and then it was kind of okay, we're taking this seriously. We're really trying to see where this can go.
Yeah.
And the things that we've kind of come up on since that point, we never would have guessed. This whole concept, this whole idea is so new that it's like this path is so uncharted that I feel like it's really interesting to see how things have evolved for dancers in the community, and how they can now use their services in different ways, and this notion of collaboration, and how dancers now represent themselves and how they can tap into so many different industries. Like, it's not so niche anymore. And so because of those things, like, as they've been surfacing, I think it's kind of changed our lens every single time as to like, oh, well, maybe this is a possibility now, maybe that's a possibility.
So what's coming next for you guys is like, maybe it's changing based on like the new information that's coming in.
Yeah, exactly. As like new information is surfacing, it kind of changes like our outlook. But I think at the end of the day, it's really important to us to kind of constantly represent the South Asian dancer and like their opportunity here in this country, and finding jobs for them, as well as you know giving them the hope that there's a reason that we're doing this, and that it's not like. There's not a dead end. You will have opportunity in the future. So, yeah.
And then what kind of opportunity are you hoping to see that's not available yet?
Yeah.
Because I know there isn't too many jobs booking, obviously, like you said, right? There's times where you've been like, I'm a Bollywood dancer, and like, we already have one, we're good.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Like, we don't need any more dancers that do that.
Exactly. So it's tough because it's kind of like, okay, well, that's the thing, is that there's not enough like education around Bollywood, because there's like several different dances and disciplines of dance. Like Shivani grew up doing Kathak, I grew up doing Bharatanatyam. They're two different classical styles of dance. And there's Bhangra, there's Bollywood, there's Ras, there's Garba. There's so many different things, and so there's no such thing as like this particular Bollywood dancer being like a master
or
of trade
Indian
in
dancer
everything.
even. Like you're an Indian dancer, so we've already seen that.
Right, and that's kind of the notion, is that, oh, okay, well, this Bollywood dancer has a mastering of everything, which is, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. So I kind of like building some education and awareness around that, but also I think like we're hoping to see like the music that we've listened to for all this time, you know, since we've we've been growing up, you know, to kind of see it seep into the mainstream, and then you know, which would hopefully create more opportunities and jobs for you know, dancers alike as well. But then
I
also
feel like it's right there.
It
Like
is.
it really
It's right there.
is close, and it's just like really hoping for that same thing that you guys did, that little tear. That somehow, like, once it opens, I think it'll
and
be
there have
well
been
received.
some like really big collabs. Marshmello collabed with a huge Indian artist, and then Shah Rukh Khan, who's like the king of Bollywood, also did a song with Diplo. So there's been a lot of crossover.
It's coming.
It's just, it's there. It's
just
there.
like the Latin sound is like so prevalent now, right? And I think that that's definitely a possibility as well. So I mean, I think that, but also,
well, if that happens, I think there are two queens that will be right at the forefront of that, and we all really hope to see it. So I mean, I'm excited for what's to come for you guys. I'm so impressed by what you've both built, and I'm always watching your stuff, like just cheering you on, and just loving that you've created, you've created something genuine and undeniable that is like magnetic. You know, you watch it and you're like, those people are living. Not only are they talented, but they're really in the moment, and they're alive, and they're bringing joy and fun back into something that, you know, it can be dead. And honestly, I just applaud you both so much too, being two women in this industry. I know that's not easy. Paving and like really paving a way for yourselves, not being handed anything, and just like for you guys to build this and create this and have it catch fire like that, like it's so incredibly special. And so you have our support always, and we're really looking forward to what's to come. So let everybody know where they can find you guys, because I bet by now they're dying to follow.
So you can see our videos at youtube.com/BFunkDance, or you can follow us on Instagram at Shivani Bhagwan, at BFunk, or at Chaya Kumar.
Yes, and Danielle, where can they find you, Laura?
Instagram, Danielle Rose 143.
And you can find me on Instagram at DanaAlexa_, and on YouTube at DanaAlexaDance. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Love you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.